I'm going to introduce my friend Felix Jorge, who's going to talk to you. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, buddy. So my name is Felix, and I want to keep this pretty short, but tell you guys a little bit about what I'm up to. So I was a visualization artist, worked on world building for the third floor as an artist for near 10 years. After that, I noticed some patterns in the way visualization was being used, which previs is predominantly focused around the brain of a director, and I was very passionate about using virtual production for the brain of a production designer in the art department as a way of design, so that you can figure things out, and obviously there's new tech coming out all the time, and I saw a gap in the way people were planning, so that was what Narwhal Studios became. We founded Narwhal Studios. It was really about bringing some of the art department up into virtual production, and so that went really well. After doing that for a while, I was the VAD supervisor at Jungle Book on directly with Jon Favreau and with Andrew Jones. Then I had an opportunity on The Mandalorian to be the VAD supervisor on that, the virtual art department supervisor, helping the same team, right? I was lucky enough to help Netflix, WB, and a bunch of studios that you guys know set themselves up. So I specialize in virtual production. I founded Narwhal, which is now delving into creating a platform for education, and where I'm going to be doing long sessions in front of a whiteboard session. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And I'm going to start blogging about the past 5 to 6 years that we've been using this process. The Mandalorian was near 6 years ago, and we've done around 25 projects in the process. So we feel an obligation, I feel an obligation to hopefully get questions from you and then answer them in a public forum. If you want to know how much people made, if you want to know how things were done, if you want to know those questions that don't quite surface, please send me a note, and I am going to put it out publicly so that the world knows. And so here's some of the projects that I've either supervised or my company helped develop, and it's a mixture of films and games, right? So I was the virtual art department, or the virtual production supervisor on Ant-Man. I was the virtual art department supervisor on The Mandalorian. We also did the first 6 to 7 seasons with Lucasfilm that used this tech. We were the team that was directly working with the filmmakers, and so we put together a process that allowed them to all meet online in VR headsets and plan their film virtually, but as if they were there in the day. So I really just want to talk about these 2 adventures that I'm on right now, and if it's something that could help you, maybe we go on it together. So Narwhal Studios, we're offering consultation around this process, and we specialize in virtual production for pre-production, which is something that is still, I feel like, getting its traction. And then we are also going to be deploying a platform, but as a part of that, the most important part is what I am actually committing to, which is to sit in front of a camera for multiple hours every single Friday and share these things that we've learned. And obviously, my knowledge isn't just my own. I had a team of 100 people last year, so doing this work. And I shrank down the team to a fraction of that so that I can have the time to have these conversations. So that's what Narwhal Studios is. And then I went ahead and I joined Arctic 7. I have a mission of democratizing this process, and not necessarily just virtual production, but the creative process. I think there's a skill offset happening in the industry right now, especially with the decision makers not quite even understanding what they're looking for to do this process, and then the talent that's coming up not being taught what they need to know in order to immediately be able to work with a company like the one that I had. So I did a lot of training game guys and knowing how, or game individuals and knowing how to think like a filmmaker, right? Think about the film, not just about the visual, but think about what is it that the DP wants? What is the mood, the intention? And then the other side of that is helping the film teams understand how to use the game engine. I am partnered with 2 individuals. One of them was an engineer at Meta and the other one is a brilliant lighter that came from Marvel and a lot of those AAA films that we watch. So as you pose those questions, that's where I come from. And so I have a team now that I'm working with at Arctic 7. It's a game development company, and I'm working with them to hopefully bring this process into that world as well. They are working on one game, and we're starting to develop it there. And so soon we'll also be able to offer teams to the industry in film and TV. So now, these are our offerings. However, I invite you to please send me an email or find me on LinkedIn, pose the questions that you have, and hopefully I'll meet you in a whiteboard session. Thank you.
All there are now are dumbs and ragamuffins. Ragamuffins and dumbs. One always taking, one always runs. Who needs them? Hey! Are you gonna run now, girl? Fathead! Run.